And I think Derry have 3 or 4 weeks. They'll be thinking of nothing else but me today. They'll be hard bet though.
Well, Derry have had these 2 competitive games now, the drawn league finalists, the match against Derry or against Cavan. So they are beginning to hit their stride of form now.
Yeah, and I think what both teams will be looking out for today. I mean, our GAC threw down a fair marker this week with the suspensions, and I think what we're going to have to start seeing is teams playing with a better spirit. And I thought there was some niggly stuff the last day, like fellas holding on to the ball, and I didn't think Mick Curley punished it enough. He didn't give 10 or 14 yards. He just let them do that. And I think if we can get that out of the game today, we could have a good, fast, open game.
Well, Tommy, there's the Derry team come out of the pitch here with Clones and having the old team picture taken as usual. Change of referee, and of course this is the new regulation now from the drawn game. Same referee, Michael Curley, not here today. Interesting, the match is refereed by Paddy Russell, who was there the last day as well.
Yeah, and it was Paddy Russell, by all accounts, who sent off Graham Geraghty, ironically enough, that Mick Curley didn't see it and he was beside it. So it just goes to show you that I think it's a good decision changing referees. I think, there's a lot of baggage that does get carried forward in replays, and I think it's a very good decision. Paddy Russell was only involved on the touchline. He had a key role in sending off Graham Geraghty, but Paddy would be a very different referee to Mick Curley. Paddy would be maybe a lot stricter on the first foul, and would be a lot more maybe finicky than Mick would be.
Would there not be an argument, Tommy, finally, for replacing the entire team of officials, seeing the fact that Paddy was so much involved with that day in Meath?
Yes, certainly. I mean, it wouldn't have been. Nobody would have argued against replacing the whole lot of them. But I suppose linesman as a linesman, they don't really have that much role in the game. But I found it very interesting that Graham Geraghty got another 8 weeks for foul and abusive language. I mean, we were close to the touchdown the last time, and if we get into the foul and abusive language game, there'll be a lot of fellas serving 8 weeks. And I think it's a good thing. I am in favour of it, but we've got to just be careful that we should lay down the markers and inform everybody and tell everybody from next Sunday this is going to start happening. Because referees are prone to using a bit of bad language themselves as well. So if we put the boom mic on them, it'll be very interesting to hear some of the comments out there. So I think we just have to be careful.
All right, Tom, thank you for your thoughts for the moment. So on that note then, we're going to hand back again to Gerard Canning in the build-up to this National Football League final replay.
Okay, Michael, let's get down to business then in terms of taking a look at the 2 teams for this evening's match, and we'll start with Meath. There have been so many doubts, of course, about the involvement of several Meath players, but this is the latest situation. Paddy Reynolds and Hank Train, as you heard, were the big injury worries. They're both off today, replaced by Anthony Moyles and Nigel Nestor, coming back from the position he was given in the team we were given earlier, which was at full forward. In midfield, it's the All-Ireland final combination, Nigel Crawford and John McDermott. Then Jody Devine wears number 21 in the absence of Graham Geraghty. Ronan Fitzsimons gets another chance to enhance his reputation at centre half forward. And clearly the possible match winners for the Royal County are Trevor Giles and Ollie Murphy. So Meath in their traditional green and gold jerseys, coming down this right-hand side, managed of course by Sean Boylan, 19 years in charge of Meath. McGonigal from the team printed in the papers during the week, and back in comes Paddy Bradley, while in the other corner Johnny McBride contrives to cause menace at the top of the left against Mark O'Reilly, and that should be quite an interesting duel there. We begin. Time for the national anthem. The strains of our own Nevian fade. The cheering crowds getting ready to support their teams. Will it be the All-Ireland champions, Meath, or Derry, hotly fancied from Ulster? Live football from St Tiernack's Park in Clonus. And it'll be Derry who will play, wind-supported for the opening 35 minutes. Paddy Russell from County Tipperary gets the match underway, and straight away it's Dermot Heaney pumping it in towards Enda Muldoon, runs in beyond him. Getting the toe to it there was Niall McCusker. Final shot from Johnny McBride, carries right into Cormac Sullivan's arms. Out as far as Antry Moyles. Oof, they almost get into trouble. Moyles once again. A lot of questions will be asked of this Meath half-back line. That is, unless Derry continue the policy of pumping it in long. Donald Curtis out at left half forward. He's got support. Henry Downey trying to close him. That's taken by Conlon. Getting it out to Tohill. Now it's Dermot Heaney. Not such a good ball. Comes back to John McDermott. Expected to be a very influential figure. Likewise Giles. He was fouled. Ball played in. Roar of disapproval from the Meath fans, but as that ball goes in, Ollie Murphy is fouled just outside the 20-metre line. A lot of early activity. That's David O'Neill there.
Yes, and part of that activity actually is that Trevor Giles has gone to centre-half forward and Kieran McKeever has moved out to centre-half back on him in the man-to-man marking situation that we had predicted beforehand.
First scoring opportunity, and it's to Meath. That's the angle of difficulty confronting Trevor Giles. He makes light of it. First scoring opportunity then coming from the free there for Meath. And they go in front. Trevor Giles, only 25 years of age this year. Most decorated footballer on the Meath team that last won the league. That was back in 1994 when they beat Armagh. Michael Conlon kicking this one down towards Anthony Tohill, rising up well, not able to hold on to it, however. Giles is in there. Meath get themselves the free. And for not moving back quickly enough, there's going to be a 13-metre penalty. Anthony Tohill, of course, is the Derry captain, civil engineer with Omagh Council.
Yes, I noticed there actually Paddy Russell went in to have a word with Sean Marty Lockhart and Ollie Murphy, and remembering their game in Celtic Park earlier in the year, he's probably just going in to tell them to wise up a little bit.
Yeah, any kind of trouble whatsoever, Paddy will stamp it out instantly. The players know that as well. So that is the 45-metre line about to come into picture now for Trevor Giles to kick this free. Meath looking for a second score. Into the breeze, beautifully struck. Huge roar of approval from the Royal fans. All the scoring is coming from frees and from Trevor Giles. Well, it sends out a message to Derry instantly. Any kind of fouling that you do anywhere within 45 metres, and Trevor Giles will probably punish it. This was a quite magnificent kick that landed right over Michael Conlon's net. Conlon here from Ballinderry, which is on the border between Derry and Tyrone. They get it back again, Meath. McDermott. Well, he was trying to pick out Ollie Murphy. He was left almost on his own up there. Derry now looking for a score to settle them down, but that is good work. Cormac Murphy has come back from a career-threatening injury a couple of years back, missed the 96 All-Ireland final. Ronan Fitzsimons looking for Ollie Murphy, has got him. Here's his first scoring chance, and that's his first point. He's a terrific forward. And there is this tactic now of leaving him isolated right in front of the Derry goal. And he's availing of the space. And they're pumping the ball in early to him.
Actually, it's David O'Neill who's directly marking Ollie Murphy at the moment.
Well, he was standing somewhat off him. So a very good start for the All-Ireland champions. Michael Conlon kicking in once again. He's the Sigerson Cup player with Jordanstown. Possibilities here. Tohill. And he's managed to just get it over that crossbar. There was a challenge coming in late, but he managed to beat it off, and the Derry captain is credited with their first score. So 3 points to 1. Referee Paddy Russell had just gone across there to have a quick word with Niall McCusker, and the man who is marking him, who is Richie Keeley. Just a quick little warning. Sullivan's kick. Fisted back down there. Taken here by Dermot Heaney. Great ball forward towards Muldoon. Support coming through, Ronan Rocks. Challenge by Nigel Lester. Derry managing to still get the chance, still managed to take it and put it over the bar, and that's great work by Enda Muldoon. He's playing really very, very good football. Well, he got 1-3 against Cavan last week in Derry's 11-point win, and that was his first point of the afternoon.
Will be on the national TV.
Well, if Muldoon manages to get a lot of possession like that there, he certainly has the capacity to trouble Darren Fay, who's just back from a recent injury. Here's Nigel Lester. Towards John McDermott. Meath fans roaring him on. Tohill going to meet him. Colleagues, of course, in the Irish international team in Australia. Dropped in, Murphy's after it, keeper comes out, Michael Conlon does well. Here's Henry Downey. Doing a little solo, holding it up, waiting for Anthony Tohill to become available, beating the attempted block by Giles. Dermot Dugan, quiet man of the team, quiet in the sense that he does all his talking very much on the field with his football, but he's very much a quiet lad off it. That's going to be a Derry sideline ball. Last man to touch it was Darren Fay. Darren, of course, has taken over as captain. He was due to start the captaincy for the first match in the championship. Johnny McBride on the ground where he captained Derry to an under-21 All-Ireland victory in '97 against Meath. It comes out to Richie Keeley. Moyles. Held in there well. Nicely taken by Evan Kelly. Driving it up towards Murphy once again. Jody Devine's about, but so too is Gary Coleman. Trevor Giles manages to get it back. And this time the referee decides that the foul is by Giles on Kieran McKeever. It's taken by Tohill quickly, smartly downfield. Opportunities here. Played back. McCusker. Great kick, great point by Niall McCusker from Ballinderry. It's just his first chance. He's only 19 years of age. Played at left half back in the first game 2 weeks ago, and clearly a great prospect, as we can see once again here. Beautifully driven.
Actually, it's a very purposeful and positive opening by both teams, and using the wide expanse of the pitch very effectively, and both teams are using long ball, and it's making for a very enjoyable opening.
Good atmosphere about as well. Nigel Nestor gets the jeers of the Derry fans for that wayward pass out of the centre half back position. Booted back in by Paul Macklin. Some holding, free on the 45-metre line. So the match beautifully poised. There's Cormac Murphy, who's the centre half, or the left half back. Used to play at centre half back. And that's what happened just moments ago there. So the free is entrusted to Anthony Tohill, 1 point already in the game for this giant of a man from Swatra. Familiar little run-up, couple of hops, then a deadly kick. That's brilliant. Tohill gets his second point, and Derry steal in front by 4 points to 3. Very much the long-range free-taking expert. Cormac Sullivan, the 23-year-old, kicking this one out. It bounces away off Trevor Giles. Coming out to take it is Cormac Murphy. Playing well away from the corner, but that's because Derry are playing just 2 men in the inside forward line. It's towards Murphy once again. It's fisted away by O'Neill. Comes out here, taken by McCusker. Kicked ahead. Dermot Dugan. Also there, Paddy Bradley. Held on beautifully there by Anthony Moyles. Ronan Fitzsimons. And again, a bit of dragging. Henry Downey, the guilty party this time. That's just about cut out by Kieran McKeever. Did really well. O'Neill. Getting it out well there towards McCusker. Enda Muldoon. Again, he gets out there ahead of the full-back Darren Fay. Paddy Bradley. Oh, a lovely ball inside. An opportunity for Tohill. And another brilliant goal by Anthony Tohill. What a player. 12 minutes are gone in the first half. But it was an inch perfect pass. But Tohill ran all the way from the middle of the field, made up a good 40 metres as Bradley floated it in over the backs. There was a shoulder, but Tohill is strong, determined, forceful, and wonderfully accurate in front of goal.
The actual pass there, Ger, from young Bradley was an absolute peach. He just cut the fullback completely out of it, and Tohill, to his credit, kept his head. He was going to go for a point, just went on that extra yard or two and placed it delightfully beyond Michael Conlon. But the way both teams are using the width of the pitch there is to their credit, and they're making for a very, very open, entertaining game.
Well, you'll remember that great goal that he scored in Croke Park just 2 weeks ago. He's done it again. It's a very fine start to the match. Dugan, back around the half-back line, bad kick. Rifled forward by Cormac Murphy, good direct football. Good corner-back play here by David O'Neill. Derry getting it out once again to Dugan. Once more it's Tohill. Well, this is kind of reminiscent of Galway playing in the 1998 All-Ireland football final, playing long, direct football. And it's a joy to watch. That was Sean Marty Lockhart taking that ball out, but there is a foul and it's going to be a free to Meath. Taken by Giles Sparkley. John McDermott. Meath pushing forward, looking for possibilities. That's Ronan Fitzsimons, an awkward one for Michael Conlon. Very composed, however, out to Gary Coleman. Most famous man who gets up early in Maherafelt in County Derry. He's the local postman. Broken down by Nigel Nestor. That's Nigel Crawford. Back to Nestor once again. And the referee spotting a foul. The player on the ground just up ahead of us here. Donald Curtis, nobody seemed to see that. Derry, strong in their own full-back line. In particular, Sean Marty Lockhart. It's the kind of match I think the players are enjoying already. Tohill. And again, some holding here. This time the referee indicts Ronan Rocks for pushing. I think the referee has also noted the number of the number 12. Up towards Ollie Murphy once more it comes. Well, Sean Boylan will appreciate how much this game will bring his team on with just 2 weeks to go to their first championship match. And a huge one against Offaly. Just a bit of pulling and dragging now in the last couple of minutes. Johnny McBride, the last man to take himself off the ground. Cormac Murphy there has been spoken to. His number may have been noted a little earlier on, so the referee may take the option on this occasion of issuing him with a card, and it's going to be a yellow. Back from Johnny McBride. Paddy Bradley in there. Whoops, it takes off the ground. Referee wasn't too far away. No great protest from Bradley. Well, Bradley scored 3 points against Cavan last weekend at Breffni Park, and he was the maker of the goal here after 12 minutes for Anthony Tower and Derry. Henry Downey. Beautifully gathered in here. Very good target player here, Enda Muldoon. Mark O'Reilly is marking at this stage. Henry Downey's there. Here comes Bradley. Opportunities once again for another possible goal. It's been touched in off the side netting. It's gone for a 45. But Paddy Bradley was so near.
Again, what was wonderful in that move, it was the way Enda Muldoon came out to the wing that time, collected the ball, but fed the ball to Henry Downey, who was coming through. And again, Bradley, okay, seems to be very left-footed, had to come back on the left foot. And again, it was a very good fingertip save by Michael Conlon that diverted it out for a 50.
Remarkable movement and fluency in the game. When you saw Towell making his 40-metre run, Henry Downey doing something similar there just moments ago. Here's the game's first 45. A few hardy souls up there in the stands. Towell striking it, and this time he has struck it over the bar. Just for a moment there it seemed from this angle here it has gone left, but not so. And it's 1-5 for Derry, 3 points for Meath. So now a goal and 3 points credited to Anthony Towell, the Derry captain. And there's Eamon Coleman there, looking on, watching every possible movement. Fergal McCusker just behind him there, one of the substitutes. Dermot Heaney this time staying back, leaving it for Dermot Dugan. Back out from Sean Marty Lockhart. Heaney belting it in towards Paddy Bradley. O'Reilly's there alongside him, and he's having his hands full against Bradley this evening. But good work, tenacious work by the number 2, and as he went down to pick the ball up, he was tripped, and it's a free out for Meath. That's quite a duel.
That was excellent bit defending actually by Mark Riley, because he was well beaten for that ball, but his patience and the way he carried him out to the side that time and 1-3 was worth noting.
Ball has been kicked out over the sideline once again, rather needlessly by Meath. Referee just waiting for a moment while there are some running repairs being carried out. I think by Anthony Moyles.
Yeah, one of the general points really to date actually, Derry are winning most of the first time possession in the middle of the field, and actually their half-back line is mopping up a number of the breaks. But again, their tactic, the primary tactic seems to be to let the ball through to the full forward line. And again, Enda Muldoon is causing all kinds of difficulties for Darren Fay.
That's in over the head of Darren Fay. John McDermott's back there, but so too Mark O'Reilly. Here's McDermott. Moyles fed inside to Cormac Murphy. Good shoulder-to-shoulder charge. Derry win it back. Here comes Henry Downey. Nice ball outside. Niall McCusker hoping to get it back inside on the left boot. And this time it's gone well to the left. But it really was a glorious chance, but that's just the first wide for Derry. I think the fans who have made the journey here is about equidistance from Derry and from Meath will have enjoyed the opening 20 minutes of the game. McDermott and Toho. Great battle at midfield. But this time Toho adjusts to push McDermott. Free taken by the Meath man. Sean Marty Lockhart trying to get that ball out. That's Jody Devine stumbling, falling. And it ends up being a sideline ball for Derry. He's one of the great utility players, Jody Devine. There's Gary Coleman. They go short to Dermot Heaney. Toho belting it towards McCusker. Touchdown well, got a vital little touch to that. Here comes Dugan. Plenty of support play. Kieran McKeever enjoying himself, playing in an advanced position. Solid work back there. Again, John McDermott goes in time and again to add that little bit of extra balance. That came off Nigel Nestor. Fouled in any case, and it's going to be a free out to Meath. And Muldoon really enjoying his football this season so far, and of course they've got an Ulster Championship match coming up in 4 weeks' time, and that against either Down or Antrim. Down the likely team, I would think. Sullivan driving it into the centre. Lots and lots of bodies in there. Trevor Giles, he's a lovely skillful player, but he's very competitive as well. Works hard. That was Ronan Fitzsimons. Ollie Murphy and Jody Devine, and Devine, the one who is on his knees, gets the free. Derry protest. They feel there wasn't anything in that. Well, he managed to get the free for Meath, but Derry, I think, will feel it was a very harsh call. It will be Trevor Giles who will strike this. So far he's got 2 frees, 2 points. So this wonderfully gifted and talented player from Screen, kicking from about 30 metres out. Beautifully done. 3 points now for Trevor Giles, former footballer of... Always looks so composed, even under pressure. 1-1 between the teams.
Actually, that's the first score since the 4th minute. Like, they've gone something like 18 minutes without a score. And on the basis of the early play, Derry looked that little bit sharper. Perhaps the game last Sunday against Cavan has just brought them on that little bit extra. And they're basically getting to the ball first in front of all the Meath men in most positions in the field.
Listed down here, this time by Donal Curtis. Twisting it down as far as Evan Kelly. Meath a bit stretched this afternoon because of injuries and suspension. Ollie Murphy trying to sell dummies, but the Derry defence standing very firm indeed. It'll be a line ball to the Royal County. David O'Neill drifting back towards his goal area. Ollie Murphy, all-star of course. There is a player down injured, that's why they're delayed. It's a Meath player. And it's Donal Curtis from Rathkenny. And the referee calls across Henry Downey. We've already had one booking in the match. That was Cormac Murphy, the left corner back of Meath. And the referee is reaching into his pocket, looking for another yellow. So Henry Downey from Labby, booked. Short line ball. Comes back towards Ollie Murphy, and it's over the bar. He got the pass from Trevor Giles, the product of very quick thinking. He's got 2 points in the match. Meath now putting a couple of points back to back. And a goal between the teams, but that line ball taken by Ollie Murphy, in for Trevor Giles, back out quickly and beautifully over the bar. Showing us once again what an absolutely fabulous point kicker he is. Conlon kicking to the middle of the field. Derry trying to win this. Tohill ruggedly in there, distributing it back towards Gary Coleman. Then they opt to go long, down towards Muldoon. Fisted back, but only fisted back as far as the very industrious Trevor Giles. Nigel Crawford, up for Murphy once again, out around the 45-metre line. Players calling for it, in support. Ronan Fitzsimons is here. 10 minutes to go to the half-time break. Murphy was fouled late, and it's going to be a free from the 13-metre line. That's needlessly done there by David O'Neill, because he's conceded a very, very simple free kick. 13 frees for Meath so far. And I think it's just about 4 for Derry so far. If our quick little check on the notes is accurate, I think it is. Well, that was rather a silly foul, a costly one as well. So this to put just 2 points between the teams. I suppose it'd be about 10-1 on to score from here, if you even got that. I don't think you would. 4 points for Trevor Giles.
Actually, it might be cliche to say, but it's a typical Meath response to adversity. They have gone a long time without scoring, and then in the last 3 minutes they've scored 3 points. And just as at a time when you think they're going out of the game, they come back in and hit you with quick scores. And again, the game is wide open once more.
It's a very enjoyable contest. This time, Michael Conlon was trying to pick out the run there of Dermot Dugan and Anthony Tohill. They get it back as far as Kieran McKeever, playing around centre half-back, doing a match-up job against Trevor Giles. Here's Rick Shikeli. Nigel Crawford. Again, they try to pick out their target man, Ollie Murphy. And he's working really hard today in the absence of the suspended Graham Geraghty. Oh, that was fumbled by Henry Downey, and the goalkeeper had to pick it up inside his small rectangle. Kieran McKeever. Sean Marty Lockhart. Derry fans won't be too happy with their team going backwards. That's a good pass by Lockhart. Tohill. Down towards Bradley. Muldoon's there as well. They break it down towards Dermot Dugan, the centre half forward. Looking around because there's nobody moving immediately ahead of him. And there just was there, and he was held in any case. Bradley and John McDermott out sharing, exchanging pleasantries. And the referee is calling aside the 2 of them. John McDermott, number 9. 25 is Paddy Bradley. This referee, of course, who has refereed 2 All-Ireland senior finals back in 1990 and in 1995 as well, and is not taking any nonsense.
Again, it was all a little bit silly because Derry got the free and young Bradley seemed to just swing back at John McDermott after the free had been given, and I don't know if the referee is going to actually negate that kick and maybe throw it up, but I'd imagine he'd still let Tohill take the kick.
2 yellow cards in that instance there, and the referee, as you say, has cancelled out that earlier decision, and the ball will be thrown. Both number 8s anxious to gain whatever slight advantage there is. Tohill and Crawford. Well, that's 4 bookings in the match. Yet another free kick. Well, this is just outside the 45-metre line, and Tohill will take it. Breeze is sweeping in behind him. Well, he can put a goal between the teams once more here. 29 minutes into the first half. Dropping towards Cormac Sullivan. He handles it very well. Oh, not a good ball, however. He's put his defender in trouble. Keeley had difficulty getting that away. Didn't succeed in doing so. And Dermot Dugan has put it over the bar. Dugan from Newbridge
Well, that was conceded really by Cormac Sullivan's very poor pass to Richie Keeley. He had the opportunity, I think, just for a moment at least, to have kicked it into the next field, quite honestly. Instead, he opted to play clever, and by doing so, he played into Derry's hands, and Dugan took the chance.
Well, to be fair to me, defenders, you seldom get them messing around in their own goal mouth, and that was most uncharacteristic by Cormac Sullivan. And Dermot Dugan really made the most of his opportunity and took his score very well over his right shoulder.
Evan Kelly galloping forward here. Tohil chases after him. He still has it, but he was trying to feed it there to Ollie Murphy, but couldn't quite link up with it. Meath get it back. Giles for Murphy. They have a very good understanding. He's calling for it again, Trevor Giles. Ollie Murphy sees that one blocked, and it's gone for a 45. Very good defending.
Yes, really tenacious defending by the Derry defence, but in fair to Ollie Murphy, he's playing up there in his own with Ronan Fitzsimons, and he's covering the full forward line from corner to corner, but every time he gets a ball there are two Derry defenders coming right in at him, and it's making life very, very difficult. He needs to be getting more support from his half forward line to take a little bit of the pressure off.
Well, what amazes me sometimes about the play of Ollie Murphy, he's like he's on a bouncing castle. He goes down, but he's up quick as a flash. This is back to Richie Keeley.
Sean Marty Lockhart, oh, great full-back play there. Composed and linking up with Michael Conlon. Well, Meath have had 6 chances and 6 scores so far in this match, which is a great scoring average.
And the referee will restart play with a throw. Nigel Crawford lining up alongside Anthony Tohil for duty.
Giles has it, dragged down, free in.
I think that's about the 4th or 5th time actually Trevor Giles has been fouled. He's been fouled quite a bit actually anytime he gets possession of the ball.
Looking around just to see who's making any kind of run. And in the end he decided there wasn't anything really on. Although John McDermott had moved in towards full forward, he was being tracked okay by Dermot Heaney. Sean Boylan is not terribly pleased, nor his fellow selectors back there, David O'Brien and Frank Foley. Into that busy midfield area. Kieran McKeever, one of the smallest men on the field, was the last man to pick himself off the ground there with the ball. He'd been fouled. Henry Downey preparing to kick it. Huge one down towards Bradley. Manages to get inside. Mark O'Reilly trying to hold him out there. Back towards Dermot Dugan. Tohil had made a run through, and that was neither a shot on goal, if you felt, or a decent pass. But it's just the second wide that Derry have had during the opening 33 minutes. Well, he may be marginally happier, but it's still a very tight match. Getting quite chilly here as well in close. Had some showers earlier in the day, and the rain now just, I think, preparing to fall down once more. John McDermott getting that one back. That's Moyles. Ronan Fitzsimons here. He was fouled. Fouled by O'Neill. Up towards Ollie Murphy once again. Beats 2 men. One of them is the full-back, Sean Marty Lockhart. That's a great ball into Giles, and he fists it over the bar. Might just have had a goal chance, might. But he's more than happy with his 5th point of this first half. And now, as you can see, just 2 points separating the teams following a wonderful sweeping movement. This was lovely football. Murphy inevitably linking up with Trevor Giles, and in full flight opted wisely to fist it over the bar.
What was particularly noteworthy there, though, was the way Ollie Murphy was able to win the free first time in the air, and again have the vision to pick the support player up, and Giles then simply finishing with a punch over the bar.
Back from Derry. Anthony Toll. Nicely down towards Bradley. Gary Coleman holding up the point of the attack. Again, there's some movement inside. Players coming through. Paul McFlynn. He's put it wide. First time we saw him coming forward as an attacking force, the left half back. And all of that happening, as you can see, in injury time at the end of the first half. Well, one of the features, I think, of the first half has been the sweeping football, the good follow-up play, intelligent use of possession. Derry shaded at the break after 35 minutes. Their goal coming after 12. A terrific effort involving a couple of players, a smashing pass by Paddy Bradley, and a wonderful goal by Anthony Tohill, his second goal of the National Football League finals, because of course this is the replay in Clonus this afternoon, and there's a lot of very good quality football to look forward to here. But at half-time it's Derry who have a narrow lead. They lead by 1-6 to 7 points. Out by Darren Fay, but only as far as Anthony Tohill, familiar style, coming through. Good transfer to McBride, former under-21 captain. He's taken down, high challenge, and the referee will go in quickly and speak to the Meath player involved, who is Nigel Crawford. It was a promising attack which broke down there, and you can see that McBride isn't too pleased about it, and Nigel Crawford is trying to explain it all away. Referee has already given 5 yellow cards, and now, or rather 4 yellow cards, and now that's a 5th. So 3 from Meath booked, 2 from Derry. Enda Muldoon about to kick this one. In fact, Enda Muldoon is the one who's going off for attention, it seems. Maybe a hand injury. It's kicked by Paddy Bradley, and Bradley has put it beautifully between the tall posts. He's provided a goal, he's scored a point, and there's a goal between the teams. Eamon Coleman's side in front. Seamus Pryor is the linesman on that far side. Cormac Sullivan. John McDermott rises up, they're anticipating it. Kicked in there by the substitute, Anthony Moyles, substitute that is, for Hank Trader, and Paddy Reynolds of course off as well before the start of the match, both because of injury. Dermot Heaney thought about the quick pass ahead. Tohill back there, working hard, challenged the whole time. Meath tenaciously fighting. Anthony Moyles was challenging. Gary Coleman gets it away as far as McKeever. I think the fans here really enjoyed that opening 35 minutes. Very good football. McKeever kicking towards Bradley. Touched back there by Nigel Nestor. Trevor Giles on this near side, available for the pass. Now Nigel Crawford. They sweep it forward with Cormac Murphy. Wow, just a little overhit. There were 2 men inside waiting for it there, Evan Kelly and inevitably Ollie Murphy as well. Well, it's an interesting point that we heard in the discussion at half-time about the possibility of Tommy Dowd coming back for the championship, but I would have felt this is the time to be playing Dowd if he's going to be playing in 2 weeks' time.
Very true, Ger, because I think at the moment Meath are operating on the twin threat really of Ollie Murphy and Trevor Giles. Giles is having to go very far back to get ball, and Meath effectively are playing just with Murphy up front, and he needs some help in there.
Toho dropping the free into the inside forward line. Richie Keeley is back there, however, the number 5 for Meath. Evan Kelly scampering away. He was held back. The foul there was by Paul McFlynn. And there's Tommy Dowd there among the substitutes for this afternoon. And of course, as per usual, you can use 5 subs. It bounces around awkwardly. Comes back towards Ronan Fitzsimons, and the umpires have a think about it. Meath players are absolutely adamant that went over the bar.
Yeah, but Ronan Fitzsimons and Ollie Murphy are in protesting with the umpire there, but Paddy Collins is adamant also that it was wide, and there doesn't seem to be any protest, obviously, from the Derry defence.
Wouldn't be the first time there's been a bit of controversy over a point in St. Tiernack's Park in Clonus. This is what happened here. Now let's see if we can make any sense of this. Did it go in? Did it not?
I think it's inconclusive from that angle, really, Ger.
Remember, this is the Church in General National Football League final replay, coming to you live from Clonus. Meath challenging. Sean Marty Lockhart under pressure from Ollie Murphy. Lovely pick-up. Oh, that has just gone to the right. Not much doubt about that one, I think, and it's 5 wides now for Meath. That was the pick-up, the pure skill and the genius of Ollie Murphy that was wonderful to look and admire.
And what is so evident about him, he's so easy on either side, be it right foot or left foot. But again, it's worth pointing out that he's operating on a single wing in there, like with very little support. And I notice actually Tommy Dowd is starting to warm up on the far side, so he'll get some help in there fairly soon.
The crowd have got going, the Meath fans in particular, at the sight of Tommy. Kieran McKeever having quite a match-up there with Trevor Giles, 2 wonderful footballers. Nigel Nestor was around protesting, but the referee in any case has given it Meath's way. He's not too pleased. Ronan Rocks hasn't scored in the match so far. It'll be Trevor Giles to kick this one. Inside towards Ollie Murphy again, runs on. Goalkeeper Michael Conlon. Dermot Heaney, shoulder there by Evan Kelly. Good support play by Dermot Dugan towards Henry Downey. Difficult one for him to take. Going back there to support was Donald Curtis. Doesn't always get the credit he deserves for his hard work. Dugan playing it inside beautifully. Back out once again towards Rocks. I may have mentioned that he hasn't scored so far, and that is still the case. And one of those players who had a wonderful underage career. It took a little while to mature as a senior player. Tommy Dowd is being prepared.
Actually, Ronan Rocks is having quite a tussle at the moment with Nigel Nestor. Nestor to date actually is having the better of that contest.
Ronan Rocks, I think, has been taken off the Derry team, and coming in for them here is Conleth Gilligan. So Ronan Rocks, number 12, makes way. Gilligan challenged here by Nestor, held back. Nigel Crawford kicking this free. Early stages of the second half, and that looked a foul, certainly was, on Gary Coleman by Ollie Murphy. He was going down to pick the ball up when the boot came in, and that of course is illegal. Coleman going short. Mightn't have been the wisest course of action, but McKeever was smart enough to hold on to it. Challenge Tohill. Back to Sean Martin Lockhart. David O'Neill next. They're playing it very tight. They get away with it. Paul McFlynn. Racing after him there was Ronan Fitzsimons. It's Dermot Dugan. Again they play it quite short. Dugan trying to spread this one. Doing well was Jody Devine. Richie Keeley on for John McDermott, the Irish international team captain. Down towards Trevor Giles. Again they press forward. Possibilities here. That's Fitzsimons. The foul. Richie Keeley, the man who went down. Free to Meath. Giles. Crawford trying to get inside Dermot. He needs cover. And the last man to touch that one out over the end line was Sean Marty Lockhart, and that's going to be another 45. Familiar figure from the northern political scene. Well, this 45 will be taken by Trevor Giles. 4 points from frees, 1 from play. A fisted effort late in the first half. Breeze behind him, swings away left, and in the end didn't really cause any trouble to the Derry defence.
Actually, the scoring is right up noticeably in the second half. In fact, we've only had 1 score in the second minute, and both defences seem to be on top at the moment. And again, Ollie Murphy continues, Tommy Dodd continues to warm up over there. And unless we get some kind of help in that full forward line, like neither Jody Devine nor Ronan Fitzsimons are really giving the support to Ollie Murphy that he needs.
Here's Barry Callaghan, who's just come in. They played, of course, in the 1996 All-Ireland final, and Jody Devine has made way. Once again, it's Donald Curtis, can be such a good provider. Evan Kelly this time, beating the challenge of fullback Flynn. And that's from Fitzsimons, and that has again gone wide. Missed quite a few chances now. That's a total of 7 wides. He's had his opportunities. Kicking into the wind. John McDermott wrestling that one, falls down to Henry Downey. Dermot Heaney. Again they go long. Somehow that's away by Darren Fay, acrobatically so. And they fall on the ground, and in the end it results in a Meath free. Nigel Crawford the taker. Drop down towards Fitzsimons. Support coming through here, and it's Barry Callaghan. And he's got his first point since coming on just about 2 minutes ago. Barry Callaghan from Dundee, one of those to come off the bench. Indeed, the first so far. So now just 2 points between the teams. Everybody going for it. John McDermott towards Ollie Murphy, breaking it down for somebody coming through. And they keep it going well. Donald Curtis, Nigel Nestor, feeding it ahead towards Ollie Murphy. Just dropped it for a moment. That was enough. Again, they try to get it away, the Derry defence, but Donald Curtis spreading it open here. Not a good pass. There's an opportunity for Kieran McKeever to set Derry on their way once again. Managing to isolate a player in front of goal, and a very good player at that, Paddy Bradley, but this time he blazes it well to the left. That's 5 wides now.
Actually, it's worth mentioning Paddy Bradley. He's only 18 years of age. He got 3 points, I think, last weekend against Cavan. And there's no shortage of confidence in the lad at all. And he's causing endless problems, actually, for the Meath defence.
Got a quick view of the Derry sideline there. Eamon Coleman, Damien Cassidy, Brendan McRory and Martin McIlkennan, who is the trainer of the team. Just about kept going there by Barry Callaghan. Lovely ball through. Here's another chance. Evan Kelly feeding it back. And the chance fell there in the end to Trevor Giles. And the referee has decided it's going to be a free out, but there was a real goal opportunity there. Presented to Trevor Giles, some very good running, a lovely ball through the centre. Kelly was there in support as well. But it all comes to nothing. This was the opportunity again here. And that's where Trevor Giles went in on top of the back of the Derry defender.
It's a marvellous bit of brave defending, actually, by Sean Marty Lockhart in that case, the way he got down in Trevor Giles' boot.
It's one of the great skills. I think it was Paul McFlynn in the end who was the player fouled. Good play. Anthony Tohill, 2 men up front, ready to chase after it. One of them is Enda Muldoon. Here he is. Muldoon balancing himself well, but he's put it wide. He had Bradley up in support. Not quite having the same amount of success this afternoon against Darren Fay. But then 2 weeks ago, Fay was effectively coming back from an injury. And we all know him to be the best full-back in the country. Nigel Crawford, fabulous catch. Played ahead there by Anthony Moyles. This is Ronan Fitzsimons. Again shaping up for the shot at goal, but it's very, very wide of the target. Closer to the corner flag, in fact.
Actually, young Fitzsimons has shot, I think, 4 wides at this stage. But one of the things, actually, that was very enjoyable about this second half is that Tohill and McDermott have gone matched up against each other. And they're having a fabulous duel in the middle of the field there, both in fielding and at working against each other. And it's giving, actually, I think, Crawford and Dermot Heaney that little bit of extra freedom.
Well, that was a wonderful catch a little while ago by Crawford. There's a very good block by Crawford from Tohill. Two sides really giving it everything. None of this nonsense about nobody particularly wants to win the league. These two sides do. And that's a free in. Foul by Darren Fay on Muldoon. Well, this was the block here by Nigel Crawford. Beautifully effective. Well, they're just slowing it down a little bit, and Anthony Tohill is making his way up to take this free kick from the ground. One of the other options had been Paddy Bradley. You may remember he kicked one with his left boot a little while ago from the hands. Tohill so far a goal and 3 points. There's Nigel Nestor just ahead.
Tohill has been working so hard up and down the field there. I think he delayed deliberately that time just to get his win back.
Anthony Tohill playing some really very good football. This should be a Derry score, but it isn't. He never really caught it well. The clearance was by Mark O'Reilly. Won back by Dermot Heaney. That was untypical of Tohill. Maybe that fatigue factor that you mentioned. After all, this is the third match inside a fortnight for these two teams. Tohill has worked so hard as the game heats up a little bit. And Paddy Russell straight away is in to try and defuse matters. Again, we've seen up to now that he just doesn't tolerate any kind of nonsense. There was a certain element of surprise, I suppose, when Paddy was reappointed for the match, in the sense that he was on the line the last day. But he's just issued another card, this time to Johnny McBride. So now it's 3 from Meath, 3 from Derry. This is McBride coming in here, and there's where he caught Cormac Murphy. I think Paddy Russell's had a very good match. Nigel Crawford sweeping it in, taken by Michael Conlon. Mickey C, as they call him on the playing panel. An effective shoulder, carried out over the sideline. Meath will have it. They still trail. Derry by 2. And Anthony Toll, the last man back there, to make sure that one was shepherded harmlessly out over the end line. Not too many people behind that particular goal, but don't be put off by that. The attendance today is over 12,000. It's 12,800. And if memory serves me correctly, over 25,000 in Croke Park a fortnight ago for the original match. Derry have been busy in the last few weeks. That game in the original Church and General League final, then the first round championship match against Cavan, and now this replay. Tough going for amateur players, but they're very fit. Here comes John McDermott, and Toll is never too far away from him, and Toll is angered by that. Free kick to Meath. Trevor Giles wants to take it. Hitting it inside towards Donald Curtis. Player who made a wonderful goal opportunity for Ollie Murphy in the semi-final. They play it short back there, but Derry, through Paul McFlynn, managed to get that ball away. The challenge there is, in fact, it's a foul by Cormac Murphy. Free kick to Derry.
Derry are finding it increasingly difficult to get the ball out of their own defence, and there seems to be a much greater intensity to the Meath tackling than there was in the first half. And it surprises me in one respect. I know they're playing against the wind, but Derry have stopped trying to use stopped using the long ball recently, and they need to go back to that tactic if they want to make some impact.
It's still anybody's match. 15 minutes remaining, and that's given away. It comes forward here once more. Dermot Dugan. Dermot Heaney this time, holding it up, waiting for Toho. About to be challenged by John McDermott. Lovely ball inside. Just runs on a little bit too much, perhaps, for Niall McCusker. And in the end, the umpire has waved it wide. You can just see the real effort as Tommy Dowd comes in to the Meath team. There's a huge cheer. So a second alteration made to the Meath attack. And Tommy runs straight down the field there. And it's Donald Curtis, head greenkeeper in Navan, who makes way. Well, all football fans everywhere will be delighted to see Tommy Dowd back. He's got 15 minutes or thereabouts, which to make an impression. Enda Muldoon getting out there ahead of Darren Fay. It's misdirected. Bradley's chasing after it, but all in vain. I think the crowd will have enjoyed the contest here and have felt that it's well worth their while, having made the journey to Clonus. Always such a wonderful venue to come and watch a championship match, or a national league as this particular one is. The town has an atmosphere all of its own. This game is an atmosphere. Here comes Dugan, rounding John McDermott, inside towards Bradley. Expected, and indeed was challenged by Anthony Moyles. Back it comes once again. Here comes McFlynn. Muldoon going to ground. John McDermott sweeping it downfield to Trevor Giles, and now you know what the Meath fans want. They want him to pump it in towards Tommy Dowd, and that he does. Dowd is beaten the first time, however. Derry regroup, get it back. Henry Downey. Good pace to the match. Once again, it's Johnny McBride. Trying to get inside Cormac Murphy. Murphy did enough, or has he done so? Yes, he has. He's put the Derry attacker off. And that's now a total of 9 wides for Derry. Big tally. Ollie Murphy is making himself available for the kick-out and did just enough to fist it down there towards Nigel Nestor. Now he gets it back. Dropped in towards Trevor Giles. Barry Callahan being held out there. by Gary Coleman. Trevor Giles looked confident when he kicked it, but there was a tight enough challenge on him. And that is now a total of 10 wides for the Royals. 11 minutes remaining.
Actually,
Derry with Jeffrey McGonigal just coming in, and they have a 2-point lead. Sorry, Martin.
Yeah, what's extraordinary actually is we've had only 2 scores in the second half, and both teams have been, you know, channeling the ball in very well to the forward lines, but the marking is so intense. The Meath tackling in particular in the second half has increased intensity, and in the Meath forward line then, it seems to me that apart from Ollie Murphy, very few of the attackers are able to get the better of the man-to-man contest with their immediate opponent.
Well, Conleth Gilligan from Ballinderry, his match didn't last too long. He was on for about 10 minutes or thereabouts. And Jeffrey McGonigal is on. Scored a penalty last week in Breffni Park. John McDermott. Great catch. Murphy. McDermott has moved ahead, trying to get into space. Good work by David O'Neill. Came back from a bout of illness to reclaim his spot in the Derry full-back line. Kieran McKeever and Johnny McBride. Here's McKeever again. On towards Dermot Heaney. Placing this ball inside towards Dermot Dugan. Mark O'Reilly going down tenaciously. Paddy Bradley challenging him. Bit of dispute about it. Darren Fay kicking this one nicely into space. They managed to pick out a colleague who was Ronan Fitzsimons. David O'Neill back there, steady and assured, talented footballer. Here comes Toho, motoring through. Bradley racing over. It squirms away from his grasp, however, and that's enough for Mark O'Reilly. Henry Downey, good catch. Here's Dermot Dugan, beavering away as ever. Dermot Heaney. Good ball inside to Dugan. Can he finish here? More than happy to take a point, but he fails to do that. He was trying to chip it, but couldn't quite measure it accurately.
That was a lovely bit of combination actually between Dugan and between Heaney, but again, as we said earlier, the finishing has been abysmal in the second half on both sides.
This was that little ball ahead here. Good selfless running by Dermot Dugan from Newbridge, but not a good finish. That's kicked forward there by Anthony Moyles. David O'Neill just doing enough to take it away from the attentions of the Meath player. And as Evan Kelly was coming in there, the referee had spotted the foul, and it's going to be a free out to Derry. And the referee having words there with Kelly, laying down the law, explaining exactly what happened and what shouldn't have happened.
Actually, I think McKeever shipped quite a belt there. He was wide open to that belt from Evan Kelly. Evan just kept coming in and deservedly should be booked for that.
Well, this would be the 7th yellow card of the match. So the score now is Meath 4, Derry 3, where that particular statistic is concerned. Paul McFlynn wanting to take it. Kieran McKeever making himself available. Nicely taken down again here by Toho. He's having a good match. McFlynn coming through the centre for McBride. And that is swept over the bar. Beautiful kick. Johnny McBride's first point of this match. On the ground where he captained Derry to the All-Ireland Under-21 title against Meath 3 years ago, and there's a goal between the teams.
And it has taken 26 minutes since our last goal for that to come.
That was a beautiful score. Just about 7 minutes of the match remain. Henry Downey. He led them to so many titles. Giving the shoulder in there to Ronan Fitzsimons. Well, Henry was captain when Derry won the league in 92, 95 and 96, the most successful captain ever. And of course the biggest of the lot, the 1993 All-Ireland final victory itself, where Anthony Toole here was one of their stars. Kicked in this time over the head of Moyles. Bradley kicking, and he's put it away to the left. He's had a lot of opportunities, but I suppose he just needs to get his confidence going.
Certainly there's no shortage of confidence as far as I'd be concerned there, Jerry. Anytime he gets a look at the target at all, he's going to have a go. He might have been better advised that time actually to give the ball to, I think it was Dermot Dugan on the overlap.
John McDermott. And Tohill in with the shoulder. The referee says not into the opposing shoulder, rather into the back. Tohill is incensed. Now here comes Tommy Dowd. Meath never beaten. 5 minutes left. They get a free in. David O'Neill moving backwards. But the introduction of Tommy Dowd and Barry Callaghan has certainly pepped up the forward line and given a little bit of support to Ollie Murphy. But they're still so dependent on this man here, Trevor Giles. 5 points so far, and he's now got a sixth. 5 of them coming from place balls.
Indeed, there's a grandstand finishing prospect in this case. Like in the scenario is familiar. Meath coming from behind, 2 points in it, playing possibly against the odds, being reasonably, well contained in the forward line. Midfield struggling a little bit, but you can never rule them out when it's a tight finish.
So Stephen Dillon has just come in for Sean Boylan's team. He's wearing the jersey which was originally to be given to Paddy Reynolds. Paddy Reynolds injured and unable to play. Nicely forward. Again they come raiding Derry. Bradley. Of course it's a Derry forward line this afternoon without the influence of Seamus Downey. Was to have been on the bench, but he's out of the match with flu. Here's his brother Henry. Can they keep their noses in front? There's support. Dermot Heaney. Transfer to Kieran McKeever. Cormac Murphy going back for Meath. Jeffrey McGonigal chasing after him. The big burly man who's got a hurler and a footballer. That's a little unorthodox, but they get it out as far as Anthony Moyles. 2 against 1 here. Henry Downey gathering it in beautifully. Still they push forward. Here comes Niall McCusker. Kieran McKeever now. Out towards Jeffrey McGonigal. What a big roll would go up if he could put this ball over the bar. He's toying with the opposition. He's still holding it. Here comes Tohill. Coming thundering through the centre. Nigel Crawford's just in front of him for Meath. Back to end of Muldoon. Good block by Nigel Lester. Meath now able to carry this ball downfield. Giles. In spite of the paucity of scores in the second half, I think the crowd would have enjoyed it enormously. That is the overall game, I mean. Certainly you would swear there was a championship victory at stake here. The fans have gone right behind the two teams.
That's very true, Gerard. No, but the far said the last time, Jeffrey McGonigal, to be fair to him, had absolutely nobody running for him, either in support or in front of him, and eventually they were forced to play the ball laterally, and in typical fashion Meath came in, intercepted the ball and got it downfield. But we must credit Henry Downey with his last 15 minutes performance. He's been absolutely magnificent in the Derry defence.
Well, number 19 for Derry is Stephen McLarnon. And Paddy Bradley, it appears, is being replaced. They're coming forward again with Paul McFlynn here of Derry. Towards Jeffrey McGonigal. Bounces awkwardly back there. But there's Cormac Murphy once again. very much the lion-hearted man back in that full-back division. Of course, inevitably stars Darren Fay, the new captain of Meath, hoping to lead them triumphantly into the championship, but they've got some work to do here, trailing at this stage by 2 points and just about 2 minutes to go. Dermot Heaney holding on to it. Paul McFlynn. It'll be another man of a similar name we'll be looking to next Sunday. Paul Flynn, the Waterford hurler, to see how he does against Tipperary. That's our live match at the start of the Sunday game series, just 8 days away. But right now, it's Toho kicking. A huge one inside towards Enda Muldoon, broken down by Fay. Derry coming storming forward. It's a great block down. Still they battle for it. Mark O'Reilly was in there. Dermot Dugan. And that is a very poor finish after all of that. Stephen McLaren was denied by an absolutely wonderful block.
Which in many respects sums up the way the second half has gone. Both defences have been in top. Some of the defenders, the blocking in particular, has been of top class.
And there's the final whistle. Just inside, or rather about 35 minutes of the second half played. But they won't mind. There is a victor this time. Dermot Dugan, in spite of just 1 point in this match, played his part. And Derry have won the National Football League, the Church in General National Football League, for the 5th time ever. And what a great couple of weeks they've had. It was a most enthusiastic match, in particular the first half, which I think people hugely enjoyed. But Derry did all that was necessary, hung on, and you have to be really gutsy up against a tenacious Meath team who never know when to say or fall or die in a football match, because they just do not give up. And they've got a big tie themselves in 2 weeks' time, that against Offaly. That will be at Croke Park, of course. And just looking through the statistics, Meath taking 9 of their 18 chances, Derry taking 9 of their 22. There were 7 yellow cards in all, 4 for Meath, 3 for Derry. 28 frees for Meath, 18 frees for Derry, 10 wides for Meath, 12 for Derry, and the full-time score, the most important statistic of all, shows Derry the victors by 1-8 to 9 points.
Just then, so Derry are the new National League champions, first drawn and replayed match in 7 years. Donegal, who were then All-Ireland champions, and Dublin involved in the last one 7 years ago, Dublin winning that replay. So it's Derry the champions then, Tommy Lyons. It was a poor second half.
Jeez, it was absolutely dreadful stuff. I mean, to think that both teams only scored 2 points out there in the second half, it certainly
2 points apiece,
it certainly makes you worry about Gaelic football for the rest of the summer. I mean, we had 7 points scored after the first 10 minutes when the game was fast and open. I just can't understand what happened to 2 teams in the second half.
Well, the first half was a nice lively game of football, and the game started very well.
It really was, and you know, we some nice open football played in the first half. The game was played in a great spirit.
We had 7 points in 10 minutes right at the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think that we only had 2 points each in the second half. It just shows you that the team with the forwards this year are always the team that are going to give trouble, and me, they're missing Graham Geraghty there, something shocking. It's hard to believe one man could make that kind of a difference.
Yeah, it's not until he's missing that you realise how valuable he is when he's there.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Meath reverted back there to kicking just long 50-50 balls into their full forward line, and you know, you certainly wonder about the thought process out the field from some of the midfield players and the half backs, but they never gave Ollie Murphy any clear ball into space at all in the second half. Derry, on the other hand, put out a defensive format in the second half. They kind of always had 8 or 9 men behind the ball, so unless Meath were going to get it forward early, they were certainly going to struggle.
Yeah. Okay, well, the Meath supporters have slipped away from Clonus this evening then to think about the championship match in Leinster against Offaly on Sunday week, a match you can see live, by the way, of course, on the Sunday game. But for the Derry supporters, well, naturally enough, they've stayed around to see the presentation of the Church in General League trophy. That's presentation made to their captain, Anthony Tohol. Sean McCaig did the honours on the microphone, and that's General Bollard on behalf of the sponsors there with the cup, and Sean McCaig introducing Anthony Tohol to the crowd, if he needs any introduction, of course, to the Derry supporters, and what a fabulous game he had today. So then it's Anthony Tohol and his colleagues who will take the Church and General National League trophy up north with them, up to Derry. And Tommy Lyons, to make the point again that you were making at half-time, it's been a good week or so now for Derry, obviously.
Yeah.
Beating Cavan, progressing in the Ulster Championship, and now claiming the league title.
Yeah, I think May McComb will be the happier of the two managers after today. I mean, they bet Cavan, they're waiting now till June the 18th. But I'd say when Eamon Coleman goes to bed tonight, he'll be saying a few prayers that Joe Bradley and and Seamus Downey get fit, because they're going to need those if Derry are going to try and win an Ulster Championship and go on to win in All Ireland. Because we saw in the Muldoon was well marked today by Darton Fay, and both teams seem to have very good defences, and it seems to be indicative of a lot of teams in Gaelic football at the minute. The defence seems to be the easiest one to sort out, and you know, it's certainly Meath have problems going into Offaly.
Okay, Tommy, more from this Church and General National Football League final replay in a moment. We have another commercial break to take, but please do stay with us. The League Cup has been presented to Anthony Tohol, the Derry captain, but there is one more important job to be done in relation to this replay here this evening in Clones, and that is the naming of the man of the match. And to talk us through that, let's hand over to Ger Canning.
Yes, I think our man of the match had an absolute stormer, in particular during that second half for Derry. And here to make the presentation, we've got Sean McKay, president of the GAA, of course, more or less on home territory. Donald Bollard, former Dublin Gaelic footballer, he's from Church and General. Donald's going to make the presentation to Henry Downey. Well done, Henry, well done. The photographs can wait afterwards. 4 medals now in the league for you. That's a terrific haul.
Yeah, it's a terrific haul, and more than anyone could ask for. Although today we probably felt a bit jaded. That's 3 matches in 13 days. And
I saw Anthony Toll at one stage coming up for a free, and he was jaded, I thought.
Well, it is tiring, and me taking an awful lot out of you, and the Ulster Championship was last week. So we did feel jaded, but weren't you just waiting for a Meath goal at the very end there? I think we were on the edge of our seats in the crowd and just holding out for that final whistle, because we didn't put our chances away, and we're always guilty then of conceding one at the other end.
You could get the buzz at half-time. People really felt they were watching a really good football match.
Well, I don't know what it was like to watch. It started off very well.
Very enjoyable, really.
Well, I started off very well. I thought it died to death, and I thought a lot of wides didn't add to it. But overless, you couldn't fault anyone's effort out there today, and nonetheless, Meath either. They have an important match up in 2 weeks, so we probably had a wee bit of pressure off us, and considering we have a first round of a championship over.
And there is this nonsense you hear from time to time that nobody really cares who wins the league. But Church and General have been great sponsors, and we had 2 teams today who really went for it, I thought.
Well, that would be very disrespectful. Anyone who gets the league final is certainly not going to fool around with it, and certainly Meath and Derry didn't fool around with it today, nor did many of the teams that come up against each other in the league. So it augurs well for the league, and as we say, we're just delighted to have won it.
And it's been a great fortnight for you. You've had tough matches, but that'll bring you on so much for the championship. You've got a big game coming up in about 4 weeks' time.
Well, certainly, the games will have done us no harm. We've got out of it fairly fresh, no injuries, and we have a month now to prepare for the next round. So it gives us a wee bit of time to sit back now and take a look at the rest of the championship.
And plenty of new young talent coming along as well, Henry.
It's good to see it, Ger. Some of us need to be shoved over very soon and let go, so I was glad to see it. There's plenty of young talent coming along, and this is a great chance to blood them.
OK, that's the league under your belts. Now it's the championship, and this tough match that I'm talking about, you fancy to be down, I suppose?
Well, all respect to Antrim, Down have a much better record in the championship, so you'd be expecting Down to come through it. Also, championship is a minefield. You couldn't pick a winner at this stage, although we'll probably be set up now as favourites, and no team wears the favourites tag very well in the Ulster Championship. So we have a long road ahead of us. This is a bonus, and we'll celebrate it tonight, but at the end of the day, we'll have to put it behind us.
And finally, the most important question of all, what's married life like?
I get out a lot more now, Ger, so it is.
Henry Downey, our man of the match. Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ger. The man of the match indeed, Henry Downey. Fine footballer, nice guy to know off the field as well. In that second half, Tommy Lyons, a goal was required in the end for me to try and pull this one out of the fire. Their best goal chance actually came a few minutes into the second half.
Yes, it did. I mean, it was a good move down the left, and I think Evan Kelly gave the ball into Trevor Giles. It was probably just a little slow, but I thought Trevor had the best chance on his right foot. And you know, the ball comes in here now by Evan Kelly. It just hangs too long. It's not quick enough. I thought he should have kicked it there on his right. There was a very good block by Sean Marty Lockhart. The chance was probably more on his right foot the minute the ball came to him. But the ball was very slow coming across, and it's very hard. You could see there Derry had 4 or 5 men back at that stage. That's why I thought Derry defended very deep all the second half today.
Look at it from a different angle, Tom. Yeah. He didn't have much room, did he?
He didn't. No, there's a lot of Derry men back. The chance
you said like they were back bunching in defence, weren't they?
Yes, they were. And Derry kind of there was times there in the second half where I counted 10 men between their 70-yard line and their own goal, and that's defending very deep, and they only had 2 men up here for most of the second half.
For a long time in that second half, Derry looked like they didn't actually want to score. Johnny McBride finally popped one over, but they went a long time without a point.
Yeah, there was some atrocious wides by both teams today. I mean, simple scores. Derek Dougan missed a simple score. Trevor Giles, Ronan Fitzsimons. There was many a simple score missed today. I mean, you know, this is a very simple score if a guy just believes in what he's doing. And Johnny just believed that, and he just put it straight over the middle of the bar. I mean, there was loads of chances like that in the second half, and no player took responsibility and actually believed and just put it straight over the bar. That's a very good point. But there was 15 chances like that in the second half today that nobody took.
There was a lot of crisscross ball, and as you said to me at one stage, we were watching the match. You know, the direct route at the end of the day is the most important route if you can manage it. If
you can manage it. I mean, Enda Muldoon probably didn't do as well today, and Darren Fazy did the last day. So Derry didn't have the confidence in giving it into him because it was probably coming out too quick. But the route one ball into space is the only chance. And Meath were route one in the second half, but they were route one just hanging in the air, waiting for a fella just to go up and catch it, rather than route one into space. And I think that's where Meath came unstuck.
Okay, Tommy, quickly about the two teams in the championship. Derry, are they potential Ulster champions?
Yeah, there's no doubt they're potential Ulster champions. They will get the forward line right. They have the defence now. Eamon Combs will be very happy. He has 1 to 9 sorted out. He probably has number 14, you know, maybe number 11, number 13 sorted. You know, Joe Bradley could come into it and play somewhere else maybe. But Seamus Downey has to go into that forward line. I think you add in Joe Bradley and Seamus Downey, yeah, they won't be
looking fairly good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what about Meath against your old team Offaly in the next round? That, as I said, live tomorrow fortnight.
Yeah, I mean, Offaly are going into it under, you know, with a lot of problems themselves. Kieran McManus looked like he's getting 2 months down in Offaly for an incident in the local championship. They were very poor against Louth and Croke Park. Meath, on the other hand, are missing Graham Geraghty. So I think the game is probably evened up a little bit, even though Kieran McManus would be as big a loss to Offaly as Graham Geraghty is to Meath. You'd have to fancy Meath to win it, and they probably will win it quite comfortably in the end.
And they're still All-Ireland champions, of course.
Yeah, and they're going to take beating. There's no doubt about that. But I think you know, the real test for Meath will come later in Leinster, with either if Kildare get over Louth, or certainly probably Dublin in the Leinster final.
Of course it will. Well, that's our big championship match, as I said, live on the Sunday game tomorrow fortnight. The game next Sunday, as Ger Canning was saying in his commentary there, is from the Munster Hurling Championship. That is the game between Tipperary and Waterford, one that we're all very much looking forward to. Now, coming up tomorrow here on RTE Television in terms of sport, we have the European Grand Prix from the Nürburgring. That's at 12:15. I hope you're able to join David Kennedy and Peter Collins for that. David Coulthard in pole position for the big race. There's highlights then later on in the night at 10 o'clock in actual fact, with the highlights of the race if you can't see it live. Okay, that's it. Derry are the league champions. Will they be Ulster champions, All-Ireland champions later on in the summer? All that remains to be seen. From Tommy Lyons and myself, bye-bye.